Shalom, 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 Yasha. This your boy, Brother Shamuel Allah, back at you with another quick edifying video. Today's lesson is going to be called Finding Pasture. All right, Finding Pasture. All right, first and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. That's all praises to the Heavenly Father, whose name is Yahawah, and his only begotten Son's name, who you ignorantly call Jesus, whose name is Yahawashi. All right, and the Holy Spirit, which is the Rawchaa Qadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, who have ruled well through the Spirit, and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days, and has pushed this gospel and this truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. Another mighty shalom to all you Akim out there laboring on the highways and on the hedges and on the unicorn, which is this internet, pushing this 100% doctrine, this 100% truth to the four corners of the earth in these last days. A mighty shalom to you all as well. All right, like I said, today's lesson is going to be called Finding Pasture. Okay, and the brothers was kind of going into a little bit about it. I just want to bring out a few more precepts, on the finding pasture. Okay, now remember, the children of Israel are like sheep. All right, when you go to Matthew 15 and verse number 24, who was Yahawashi looking for? Right, it says, Matthew chapter 15, verse 24, it says, but he answered and said unto me, Salakia, but he answered and said, I am not sent, but unto the lost sheep of the house of Israel. Okay, in Israel, you so-called blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, and you of the diaspora who look like these other nations, but your lineage goes back to Jacob. All right, the lost sheep. Okay, another one is Jeremiah. What is that? 50 and verse number 6. It says, for my people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have caused them to go astray. They have turned them away on the mountains. They have gone from mountain to hill. It says they have forgotten their resting place. All right. So as now we're like lost sheep wandering the earth, right? And when you think about, sheep, sheep are gullible, sheep, but, on the other hand, too, you have where you did a video, where the sheep, they hear their shepherd's voice. Okay. And Yahawashi is that shepherd. All right. So let's get to that real quick. I don't want to make this too long of a video, Salakia, but this is John chapter 10 and verse number 2. I'll start at verse number 1, Salakia. It says, the parable of the good shepherd. It says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. But he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. Okay. It says, to him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and he calleth his own sheep by their name, and leadeth them out. Okay, and Yahawashi has sheep, right? Let's see, verse 27. It says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. All right. And it says, and I give unto them eternal life, and they shall never perish, neither shall any man pluck them out of my hand. All right. So Yahawashi sheep hears his voice. Okay. Verse number 9, it says, I am the door. And it says, by me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. All right. I want to look up that word pasture. All right. Let's take a look of it. So go in and out and find pasture. And that word is
Strong's G 3542. Name. Name.
Right? Name. Okay? Name, when you go to it, it says pasturage, fodder, food. Okay? And what does a sheep need? A sheep needs food, right? And what is the food? The pasture. Okay? All right. Now we understand that we're, looking on a spiritual level, right? It says, under one, it says it says figurative, he shall not want the needful supplies for the true life. Okay, because guess what? This this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right, that you're gonna get from Yahawashi is gonna feed you. All right, it's gonna feed you, right, and you're not gonna have wants of anything else, right? But this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? It says growth, increase, right? But what I look at, when you talk about, it says pasturage, fodder, or food. Okay, food. All right. So that pasture is talking about food. All right. Now let's go back. So it says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. Okay. In and out, right? And find pasture, right? Which is this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. So let's go to, real quick, Revelation 3, right? Because remember, the pasture, when we look at the pasture, it's food. Okay. So Revelation 3 and 20, it says, behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, well, who hears Yahawah's voice? It's the sheep, right? And open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him and he with me, right? Supping to eat, to partake, right? These are, you know, parables, right? Of feeding, okay? And supping. When you look up, let's look up sup, Salakia. Let's look that up. And we'll sup, right?
Strong's G 1172. Dipneo.
Dipneo, okay? And it says to sup, right? A meal to take, right? Now remember, Yahawashi said, my sheep, basically, let's go back to it. All right, so meal, right? The Lord said he will sup with you, right? It says, let me read it again. Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup, right? We'll eat with him and he with me. Okay, what are we eating? All right, let's get that real quick. Let's go to the book of Ecclesiasticus, right? The book of Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus 15 and verse number 3. It says, with the bread of understanding shall she feed him and give him the water of wisdom to drink. Okay, that's that supping. All right, that's that supping. All right, and that eating, right? Eating what? The bread of understanding, right? And drinking that water of wisdom. Okay. Now remember too, we're likened like sheep, and that pasture is food. What is this food? It's talking about this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. Yahawashi, when he told the disciples, I have meat that ye know not of, talking about this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay, that's why he said, man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceedeth out of the mouth of the Most High. Okay, paraphrasing. All right, but this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is that food. Okay, it's that bread of understanding, that water of wisdom. Okay, or that pasture that Yahawashi gives to his sheep. Okay, and ultimately that wisdom, we brought this out, has to be given to you from above. Okay. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 9, and verse number 17. It says, "In thy counsel, who have known, except thou give wisdom and send thy Ruach HaKodesh from above." Okay. It has to be sent and given unto you from above. It says, "For so the ways of them which lived on the earth were reformed, and men were taught the things that were pleasing unto thee." How? Through the wisdom, right? It says, "and were saved through wisdom." Okay? And you have to eat and partake it. All right? That's why it says in Ezekiel, right? I know I'm kind of going all over the place, Salakia. Let's go to Ezekiel 2 and towards the last, right? Verse number 9. It says, "And I beheld," I said, and Salakia, "and when I looked, behold, a hand was sent unto me, and lo, a roll of a book was therein. And he spread it before me, and it was written within and without. And there was written therein lamentations, mourning, and woe." Okay, and which was written within and without is talking about the Bible. Okay, it has words on the outside, on the cover, and the inside, right, and within. Okay, and in the Bible, the scriptures, what is it? There's lamentations, mourning, and woe. Okay, so and this was Ezekiel, right? And you go to verse 3, it said, "Moreover, he said unto me, Son of man, eat that thou findest, eat this roll, and go and speak unto the house of Israel. So I opened my mouth, and he caused me to eat the roll." All right. And he said unto me, "Son of man, cause thy belly to eat, and fill thy bowels with this roll that I give thee. Then did I eat it, and it was in my mouth as honey for sweetness." Okay. And what is that? Let's go back to Revelation, right? Revelation 3 and verse number 20. It says, "Behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come into him and will sup with him, and he with me." Okay? So the Lord is giving you this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from above, that you may be able to sup, to eat, and to understand. All right? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay? That's why it says in the book of Matthew, right? And we had brought that out too in camp. Matthew 3 and verse number 10 says, "And his disciples came and said unto him, Why speakest thou unto them in parables? And he answered and said unto them, Because it is given unto you to know the mysteries of the kingdom of heaven, but to them it is not given." Right? And what is given? That wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from above, right? From the Ruach HaKodesh. Okay. It says, verse number 13, it says, "Therefore I speak to them in parables, because seeing they see not, and hearing they hear not, neither do they understand." All right. And we jump down to verse number 16. It says, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see, and your ears, for they hear." Okay. And it's a true blessing to actually to truly hear and to truly see. Okay. To truly hear this word for what it is. When you can, come in and through Yahawah, Bahasham, Bahasham, Qadash, you can partake in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. Let's go back to Revelation. Right, Revelation 3 and verse number 7. Right, it says, "And the angel, and to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, write these things, saith he that is holy, he that is true, he that have the key of David." Okay, the tabernacle of David, the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Ultimately, those of the elect. It says, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man open. Right? And who? Yahawashi. Okay? So he said, we'll go back to that, right? In John, right? It says, we keep reading. I know thy works. Behold, I have set before thee an open door. All right. What's that open door? Salaki, we'll go back to it. But let's go to John chapter 10 and verse number 9 again. It says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture. Okay. Shall go in and out and find pasture. Revelation 3 and verse number 8 again. It says, I know thy works. Behold, I set before thee an open door, and no man can shut it. For thou hast little strength, and has kept my word, and has not denied my name. All right, because, when you read verse up, it says, at the bottom, it says, he that openeth and no man shutteth, and shutteth and no man openeth. Because once Yahawah opens, your the brain, the door of your brain to intake this, right? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding from above, right? Through the Rawchaa Qadash, no man can shut it. All right. And no man can open it. Okay. If he shuts it, no man can open it either. All right. So when you go to John chapter 10, verse 9 again, it says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, right? And shall go in and out and find pasture, right? Because he's freely to partake in this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding. Okay. And when we get that, matter of fact, let's go to John 8 and let's start at verse number 31, right? Right. He can go in and out, right? In and out is free. You can freely. All right. It says, then said Yahawashi to those Jews which believed on him, if ye continue in my word, right? This wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, right? Then ye are my disciples indeed, and ye shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. Okay? You'll be able to go in and out, right? And like the brothers was kind of expounding on it, you'll be able to read these scriptures over and over and continue to find food and edification. You continue to peel a layer back and be like, oh man, that's even better, and keep going. All right. When we go to, what is that? The book of Isaiah, right? You'll be able to freely eat. Okay. Matter of fact, let's go back to that. John 10 and 9 again, Salakia. It says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved and shall go in and out and find pasture, right? Food. He's going to be able to find that food. Okay. When we go to the book of Isaiah, right? And let's go to 65 and verse number 13, right? It says, therefore, thus saith Yahawah Bahasham thy power, behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Okay? Because guess what? The servants of Yahawah Bahasham, they're going to eat, right? They're going to go in and out and find pasture. All right? They're going to eat what? The bread of understanding and the drink the water of wisdom. Okay? They're going to be eating, right? And even physically, the Lord is going to take care of his people, just as he did, when you think about Elijah, right? When the ravens, he had the raven was giving food to Elijah, right? And brothers, we was talking about this after camp, right? We had Habakkuk, I believe, who was basically pretty much transported to feed Daniel in the lion's den, So this, the Lord is going to take care of his, right? They're spiritually going to be able to eat and drink, and they're physically going to be able to eat and drink, right? When everybody else is going to be starving, okay? But this, Yahawah Bahasham Rawchaa said, I am the door, all right? They shall go in and out and find pasture. You're going to find this food, all right? You're going to be all right, okay? Because Yahawah Bahasham Rawchaa is supping with you through this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, okay? I believe I touched the points on that, right? So I just wanted to, do this quick, edification, Lord's will. This was edifying, right? And those who have understanding and ears to hear, right, can understand, and eyes to see. They can see, what's going on here. All right. So, but with that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory. I want to say, Call Halal Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Qadash. Peace and blessings to the elect of the 12 tribes scattered abroad. A mighty shalom to the 144,000 men. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who have ruled well to the spirit and have fed and edified the sheep in these last days. Right? And another mighty shalom to the rest of the elect out there. All right? Stay strong, stay diligent, right? Continue to let this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding be your stability in these times. All right? To feed you and nourish you in these times, right? Where people are starving, right? You got people literally spiritually starving, and they can't get this wisdom, knowledge, and understanding because it wasn't given unto them from above. All right? And with that, I'll say shalom.